Hi guys, welcome back for another Friday 5 video. Today I want to talk about my 5 favorite brow tips. I'll be honest, I know I kind of already have thick and shaped brows. I'm mostly lucky in that department because my mom would not let me over tweeze them. She said that I would regret it one day, and so thanks, Mom. But these are some things that I do regularly, and then other things that I've kind of compiled into a list, keeping in mind some other women in my life that I know who have been asking me questions about their brows, and I find that this may be helpful for them as well. So I feel like I got a good list going here, keeping those brows in mind, whether they have minimal shape or they're very sparse or overplucked over time. My first tip is something that I share with everyone because I can't stress this enough. If you're going to tweeze your brows at home, fill them in first. Go through your entire brow routine, fill them in so that you can see the shape, but then only tweeze the hairs that aren't a part of that. That way you know what is a stray hair and what belongs there, so you don't go a little overboard with that tweezer. Because I know I can do it sometimes. But once I started filling them in first completely before even picking up the tweezers, it definitely helped me gain control of what needed to go and what needed to stay. I started doing this when I first got my eyebrows threaded, and I really liked the shape. So when hair started growing back in, I wanted to fill them in, and then only remove wasn't a part of that. And now I only get my eyebrows threaded like once a year. It's been over a year since I've done it. I just kind of keep them shaped up that way now. The next tip is that if you're in between shaping, whatever shaping you prefer, whether it is waxing, tweezing, threading, if you're in between those appointments and your brows start getting a little cray-cray, things start getting out of control, but you don't want to tweeze, if you take a little bit of concealer and any very flat, fine brush, you can carve them out on the bottom. Now that can kind of conceal any stray hairs that you have and kind of give the brow a lift and a shape that this one doesn't have. So I've defined my brow without tweezing. The next tip is that when you are filling in your brows, no matter what product you are using, use very fine hair-like strokes that go in the same direction as your natural hairs. This keeps the brow looking natural and realistic instead of forcing a shape or unflattering boldness. These fine angled brushes are really good for those kind of strokes, those hair-like detailed strokes, because they are so small. The black one is from Coastal Scents and the green one is from Essence. You can find it at Ulta for $1.99. It's actually my gel liner brush, but it is the finest, pointiest little precision brush I have, so this would be perfect for in the brows. But in my case, in my personal preference, I use a pencil. It is completely up to you what you use. There are multiple products between pencils, powders, pomades, and brow gels. So I'm going to make tiny little flicks in the same direction of my natural hairs. This brow's tail is always kind of crazy, so I will move the hairs aside and fill in just directly underneath where they usually lay. The part that my brow needs the most help is right here. This area, my brows are sparse and the hairs are a little bit lighter. So this is where I will add in an arch. My next tip is to soften the brow. I do this by using a spoolie. I know that Alana Davison here on YouTube uses a fluffy brush, so I will try both methods to show you. I'll do this brow and then I'll show you the difference. So I want to run the spoolie through the brows, just gently kind of moving that product around, making sure that everything is even. And then I know Alana kind of feathers them out with the soft fluffy brush, just any clean fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm going to brush them back into place. Now this brow has a softer appearance. Even though it is very defined and very shaped and obviously filled in, it just looks softer and more natural than this one. That kind of softens the harsh edges because you want your brows to frame your face and draw attention to your eyes. You don't want the attention drawn to your brows. The last tip is especially helpful for someone who does not have a very defined shaped brow or has very sparse brows or even overly plucked brows. You can create a natural depth by layering different kind of products, like using a combination of pencil, powder, pomade, brow gel, and this will help them look a little more three-dimensional rather than drawn on. I personally find a pencil very easy to use, very beginner friendly, very user friendly, but maybe someone with sparse brows may benefit from adding a powder or a pomade to certain areas of their brows. I don't own a brow powder, mostly because I've found that I can use the Coastal Scents little eyeshadow pot in Timeless Taupe. I still prefer my pencil, and I know some people prefer their powders, so it is definitely kind of trial and error. You see what works best for you and what looks the most natural on your brows. But I have been enjoying using a tinted brow gel when I am finished shaping my brows with a pencil. I really like the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. Now, I believe there's only 3 colors in this shade range. There may be more in the Benefit Gimme Brow, but there's definitely a big price difference there, and this is only $2.99. This is a great product at the drugstore for a very small fraction of the cost of the Benefit Brow Gel. It does have small fibers in them, so it will also cling to the hairs, make them a little more full, and kind of helps with that whole three-dimensional thing where we want them to look like brows and not just drawn on. I use that brow gel to brush them in the direction that they naturally go in, so everything is kind of a learning curve, and obviously personal preference, what works best for you, what works best for your brows. But these are some of the tips that I like to share with people to help them. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you can find a few of these helpful and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Bye guys.